Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Brandon Hart and it is my honor and privilege to announce the brand new Telos drums from Black Salt Audio. Telos is designed to give you that polished and studio quality sound without the usual back and forth of complex plug-in chains and endless tweaking. That means all of the internal processing, compression, saturation, tone shaping, and even EQ is already dialed in to suit the instrument you're working with. At the end of the day, Telos drums is all about speed, clarity, and tone. It's the tool you reach for when you want your drums to hit harder, sound cleaner, and for you to mix faster. You just get a great sound every single time. So today I'm going to be showing you in real time how I would go about using this plugin to mix and shape and perfect the drum sounds that I have at my disposal. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So on the kick drum, I push the lows to 20%, I push the mids to around 35%, and the highs to around 35%, while pushing a touch of tightness and smoothness, while also pushing some compression, some drive, and clipping it to where I get anywhere between 2 and 3 dB of reduction. A lot of times if you're clipping, especially drums, you can often sacrifice some of the low end, the mid range, the high end, but with this, you're not really sacrificing anything at all because it makes sure that you're maintaining the character and the aggression that you were initially dialing in with the EQ and compression. Now I'm moving on to my snare. There is a good bit of shaping that I want to introduce into this snare drum. I want to boost some lows. Now the snare also has a really great amount of mid-range, so I don't really want to push any more of the mid-range. And then I boost the highs, the tightness, and the smoothness between 20 and 30%. Now the key to especially getting your snare drum to sit properly, at least in my opinion, within the context of the mix, is getting the compression, the drive, and the clipping dialed into perfection. But this plugin, again, makes it extraordinarily easy. So I boosted the compression to around 35%, and that was to ensure that I got anywhere between 3 and 6 dB of reduction, pushing the drive to around 50% to shave off some excess transients that was introduced with the compression, and then finally clipping this to where you get anywhere between 3 and 4 dB of reduction. Now, one of the most annoying parts of the kit are the toms. They're sometimes just a bit too boomy, they're a bit too muddy. You won't have that problem anymore with Telos drums. It makes it really easy to dial in the toms to perfection within 15 to 20 seconds. I find that starting with the tight and smooth knobs generally get me in the ballpark of where I want to be. So I push the tightness to where it starts cutting out some muddiness, pushing the smoothness to around 20%, and then compressing it and clipping it to where I get anywhere between 5 and 6 dB of reduction on both, and then pushing the drive to where it cuts off some excess transients. Using this plugin with my overheads and my rooms, I have found to be so powerful. To keep this short and sweet, I do a bit of a low cut to cut everything below the fundamental low end of the snare in the overheads, as well as pushing some highs for some sparkle on the top end. And to ensure the snare drum and my overheads don't stick out too much, I do introduce some compression. And finally, we find ourselves in the room section. If you're like me and you relate to me just even a little bit, the rooms are arguably one of the most important parts of the entire kit. It breathes life into it, and this plugin, just with every other part of this kit, does an incredible job of shaping my rooms. Cutting a good bit of low end, pushing the mids to bring out the best characteristics of my snare and my room mics, and cutting some high end to ensure that it plays along well with my overheads and cymbals. The tight and smooth knobs with the rooms are pretty subjective, but I found that there was a touch too much muddiness, so I pushed the tight and smooth knobs to around 25 to 35%, while compressing it to where I get anywhere between -5 and -6 dB with the slam selection engaged. The slam selection with your rooms makes it absolutely explosive, and it brings out the best characteristics of your drum shells. And then following this, I pushed the drive to around 50%. And there you have it. That is exactly how I would go about using Telos drums to mix the entirety of my kit. It's a one-stop shop. You probably don't have to go anywhere else outside of this plugin because it is truthfully amazing. And also be on the lookout for Black Salt Audio's new subscription plan called the Artist Pass. With this subscription, you'll get access to Telos drums, all of the existing plugins, and every future release, all for just $12 per month or $99 per year. And with all of that said, we will see you guys next time. Have a great day.